Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. Today, we're diving straight into Apple's September 9, 2025 keynote, where all the latest iPhones, AirPods, and Apple Watches were unveiled. Okay, let's unpack this. Apple called this their awe-dropping event. And, well, it was a bit shorter than usual. Felt like about an hour and 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, around that. Quick, but packed.
Right. But Tim Cook still declared it the biggest leap ever for iPhone. That's a pretty bold claim, isn't it?
It really is. Sets expectations high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what does that really mean for you, the person actually using these things day to day? Are we talking truly groundbreaking stuff here, or is it more incremental updates dressed up in fancy marketing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And Apple definitely wants us thinking about it. What's fascinating, I think, wasn't just what they showed off, but how they did it. We saw a lot of the hardware and software improvements we kind of expected, sure. But the big buzzword everyone's talking about, AI, it was, well, almost missing from the main stage spotlight. It got mentioned, yeah, but more as something working in the background, powering features, not the main event itself.
Interesting.
Yeah, and if you sort of step back and look at the bigger picture, it really suggests Apple's taking a different path in this whole AI race compared to, say, Google or Samsung this year.
How so?
Well, they seemed focused on how AI makes existing things better, behind the scenes, like a silent partner, rather than pushing a big, flashy conversational AI assistant front and center.
Right.
It could be a very calculated move, maybe playing to their strengths, focusing on that integrated experience instead of, AI chatbots that can still feel a bit clunky sometimes.
Right. Yeah, AI felt more like the wizard behind the curtain, not the star performer. So, okay, our mission today on Byte-Sized Tech is to cut through all that shiny marketing language.
Definitely.
And still the really important bits of info from everything Apple dropped and help you understand what truly stands out, what's a game changer, and what's just, well, new.
Let's do it.
Let's get to it and see if it really was the biggest leap ever. First up, the main event, always. The stars of the show, the new iPhone lineup. We're talking 4 different models this time around.
Yep, 4.
The iPhone 17, the brand new iPhone Air, the iPhone 17 Pro, and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Big family.
Quite the lineup.
And all 4 were up for pre-order last Friday.
Yeah.
And hitting stores super quick Friday, September 19th. That's a really fast turnaround from announcement to actually having it in your hands.
It is quick. Good for eager buyers, right?
Yeah.
But it does raise that important question. With 4 models, how does Apple make them different enough?
Yeah, without them just eating into each other's sales.
Exactly. And maybe more importantly for the user, what's the common ground? What upgrades do you get no matter which one you pick?
Boy.
Well, for instance, all the new iPhones now get that 18-megapixel center stage front camera. That's a pretty significant bump in quality and features for anyone who does a lot of video calls or, takes selfies.
Damn stage on all of them.
Yes. Yeah, and it's clever. It has this square sensor. So
Right.
what that means for you is you can actually take landscape selfies without turning your phone sideways.
Really? How does that work?
The AI just intelligently crops into the wider sensor. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
And it uses Apple Intelligence to automatically keep you framed perfectly, too.
Okay, that's pretty smart.
And beyond that, this is a big upgrade. Under the hood, they all have Apple's new in-house networking chip, the N1.
The N1 chip. Okay.
Yeah, this is a crucial move for Apple. It replaces chips they used to get from companies like Broadcom, similar to how they brought their 5G modems in-house with the C1 chip.
Right. More control for them.
Exactly. Tighter control over the whole hardware and software integration. So for you, this N1 chip means you get Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and Thread connectivity across the entire lineup.
Wi-Fi 7. What's the big deal there?
Well, it's not just faster speeds, although that's part of it. It's also more efficient and has lower latency, especially if you're in a place with tons of networks, like an apartment building.
Ah, okay. So less interference.
Should be, yeah. Smoother, more reliable connection. And Bluetooth 6 means better audio quality and stronger connections for your AirPods or whatever. And Thread. Well, Thread's key for their smart home stuff. HomeKit. Makes those devices talk to each other better. It's really a foundational upgrade, kind of future-proofing the whole line.
Okay, so that N1 chip is a pretty significant, if maybe invisible, upgrade for everyone. Good connectivity boost.
Yeah.
And, it's also good to see them still talking about sustainability, even if they feel like, well, small steps sometimes.
So you always make a point of it, yeah.
The iPhone Air, for example, uses 80% recycled titanium in the frame. That sounds like a lot, right?
80% is huge for a material like titanium, yeah.
Yeah.
Significant.
And the regular iPhone 17 uses 35% recycled material by weight, which is up from 30% last year.
Incremental progress.
They even mentioned the Air's USB-C port is like 3D printed titanium. Thinner, uses less material.
Yeah, 33% less material than forging it, they said. Little details, but they add up. These aren't just buzzwords. It shows real effort in material science and how they make these things.
Right. Small steps, but important ones. Okay, let's kick things off with the standard iPhone 17. This year, the base model, it feels less base, more like premium adjacent. It's kind of blurring the lines with the older Pro models.
Definitely.
So what's that mean for someone just looking for a solid, reliable iPhone, but maybe not wanting to shell out for the absolute top-end Pro Max?
Well, for you, it really changes the whole value game. You're getting features that, used to be exclusively Pro territory. It's almost like they're strategically demarketing some of that Pro exclusivity.
Interesting way to put it.
Take the display. That's a massive leap. It's now a 6.3-inch Super Retina XDR display with promotion.
Promotion on the base model.
Exactly. Now, Super Retina XDR, that's just Apple's fancy term for their best OLEDs. Great contrast, colors, true blacks. But the promotion, that's the adaptive 120 hertz refresh rate.
Right. Smooth scrolling.
Super smooth scrolling, and gaming. But it can also drop all the way down to 1 hertz when you're just looking at something static, which is huge for saving battery.
Okay, yeah. That's been a long time coming for the non-Pro phones. They were stuck at 60 hertz for ages.
Way too long. This finally puts them on par with, a lot of Android flagships in that department. And it doesn't stop there. This display gets incredibly bright. 3,000 nits peak brightness.
3,000. Wow.
Yeah, that's 50% brighter than the iPhone 16's 2,000 nits. So fantastic outdoor visibility, even in bright sun. And HDR content will really pop. Plus, it's got Ceramic Shield 2, which they say is 3 times harder to scratch.
Ceramic Shield 2.
Yeah, it's that glass ceramic stuff they use, makes it tougher against drops and scratches than regular glass. So yeah, for you, this display isn't just a little better, it's a night and day difference from older base models. It really brings the standard iPhone screen quality way closer to the Pro level. It's the screen this phone deserved, frankly.
A 120 hertz display on the base iPhone. That feels like a real turning point, doesn't it? Redefines what you expect at that price. Puts pressure on competitors, too.
Absolutely.
But I wonder, is this just Apple being generous? Or is it also a smart way to maybe nudge the average selling price up? Since that screen was a key reason people paid extra for Pro before.
That's a shrewd point. It's probably a mix of both, right? It's genuinely better for users, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it also keeps the base model competitive and maybe justifies its price point more easily.
And for you, the user, how noticeable is 120 hertz compared to, say, the camera upgrades on this base model? Are there other big changes under the hood?
Oh, 120 hertz is something you notice immediately once you've used it. Scrolling, animations, games, it just feels smoother, more responsive. Hard to go back, honestly.
Okay.
And yes, definitely other big updates. The A19 chip, it's built on that cutting-edge 3-nanometer process.
3-nanometer, right. What does that actually mean for performance?
Well, for you, 3 nanometers isn't just a number. It means Apple can cram almost twice as many transistors onto the chip compared to older 5-millimeter ones. That's where that huge 90% performance jump over the iPhone 14 comes from.
90%? That's massive.
It is. So faster app launches, smoother multitasking, sure, but also better sustained performance for demanding stuff like games or video editing without the phone getting too hot and slowing down. It's more power, but crucially, it's more efficient power.
Gotcha. Better performance and potentially better battery.
That's the goal. It's got a 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU. It's going to handle pretty much anything you throw at it. And the cameras, they got major upgrades too. You're getting a 48MP dual fusion main camera.
Dual fusion? What's that?
So when Apple says fusion, they're basically talking about clever software tricks, merging data from different pixels or combining exposures to get a better final image. On this 48MP main camera, the dual fusion part means it uses that high resolution to effectively give you a 2x optical quality telephoto shot by cropping in.
So it simulates a telephoto lens without needing a separate one.
Exactly. Gives you better framing options without the extra hardware. And then there's also a 48MP Fusion ultra-wide.
48 on the ultra-wide, too. Wow.
Yeah, for those big landscape shots or getting really close for macro photos, that's a really pleasant surprise on the base model. And the front camera, like we said, is that 18MP center stage 1 with the square sensor, doing the clever landscape selfies and AI framing. It can even give you different aspect ratios, like 4.3, 16.9, or square right from the sensor.
Okay, a 48MP ultra-wide on the base model. That is a nice surprise. That's a lot of camera capability trickling down. But battery life, always a huge concern, and the price for all this. Did it go up?
Battery life, always key. Apple's promising all-day battery life, and they gave a specific number. up to 30 hours of video playback.
30 hours?
Yeah, which they say is 8 hours more than the iPhone 16. That's roughly a 30% improvement based on some reports. Pretty significant jump.
What's driving that? Just the chip?
Partly the more efficient A19 chip, yeah, and also that adaptive promotion display we talked about, using less power when it can. Fast charging is better too. 50% charge in just 20 minutes if you use a powerful USB-C adapter.
20 minutes, nice.
Super handy for quick top-ups. And there's a new adaptive power mode in iOS 26 that's supposed to learn your habits and save battery smartly in the background.
Okay, sounds promising on the battery front. Price?
Starts at $799, but, and this is another big improvement for you, you now get 256 GBs of storage as the standard base level.
Oh, double the storage from 128 GB last year.
But double the storage compared to the iPhone 16's base 128 GB for the same $799 starting price. That makes the value proposition much better, I think.
Yeah, that's a welcome change.
And for people looking for something cheaper, the iPhone 16 is sticking around at $599, so there's still a more budget-friendly option.
Right. Okay, so the iPhone 17 sounds like a really solid upgrade, maybe the biggest jump for the base model in years. Now, let's get to the one that probably stole the show in terms of headlines. The iPhone Air. This thing is thin, like crazy thin, 5.6 millimeters thick.
Yeah, incredibly slim.
Apple's thinnest iPhone ever, right. And even thinner than the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, which was already pretty skinny at 5.8 millimeter. Maybe not the absolute thinnest phone if you count some obscure brands, but definitely a standout in the mainstream market.
For sure.
It's replacing the iPhone Plus model and bringing that Air name over from MacBooks. So what's the story here? What does this mean for how it feels, the design, and crucially, what do they have to sacrifice to get it that thin?
Well, what's really impressive is how they managed it without, completely gutting the phone, which is what you might expect. This wasn't just shaving off a millimeter. It sounds like a total re-engineering job. It weighs only 165 grams, which is remarkably light for its size. Feels almost weightless, apparently. It's got that polished titanium frame, strong but light, and ceramic shield glass on both the front and back for durability.
Titanium frame, huh?
And the edges are more rounded, kind of a throwback to older designs like the iPhone 5 or the SE. Probably makes it feel nicer to hold than the recent sharp edge designs.
Yeah, maybe more comfortable.
Even tiny details like the USB-C port. It's a thinner 3D printed titanium component to keep everything sleek. And visually, the camera, it's not that typical bump sticking out. They're calling it a plateau.
A plateau?
Yeah, it sort of flows more smoothly into the back glass. The idea is partly aesthetic, but also maybe to stop it wobbling when you lay it flat on a table.
Okay. Less wobble.
It's definitely a unique look. Signals Apple's really pushing hard on industrial design again with this one.
A camera plateau. That's a fun detail. Shows the level of thought. But okay, an ultra-thin phone. That almost always means compromises, right? Especially battery life and cameras. Those things need space.
Absolutely.
And just managing heat from a powerful chip in such a thin body sounds like a real challenge.
You've nailed the key challenges, yeah. Thin equals tough engineering problems. But Apple seems to have made some pretty clever choices here. The display on the Air is actually fantastic, a 6.5-inch Promotion XDR screen.
So, same quality as the Pros.
Looks like it, yeah. Adaptive 120 hertz, 3,000 nits peak brightness, top-tier visuals, and performance. It's got the A19 Pro chip inside.
The Pro chip in the Air, not the regular A19s.
Yeah, the A19 Pro, which includes those neural accelerators for what Apple's calling MacBook levels of compute.
Neural accelerators. What do those do for you?
Think of them as specialized hardware cores just for speeding up AI and machine learning tasks. Things like recognizing stuff in photos, processing your voice for Siri, complex camera tricks. It makes all that incredibly fast and efficient right on the device itself. So even in this super thin phone, you've got serious processing grunt.
Okay, Pro power in the Air. Impressive.
Okay.
How do they manage the heat and connectivity?
Well, connectivity gets the boost from that new N1 chip Wi-Fi 7 Bluetooth 6 thread, plus an even more efficient C1X modem. They say it delivers twice the performance, but uses 30% less energy than the previous C1 modem.
Better performance, less battery drain. Nice.
But here's a big change they made to maximize internal space, likely for the battery. It's eSIM only, worldwide.
eSIM only everywhere. No physical SIM slot at all.
Nope. 0 physical SIM slot. That's a first for an iPhone outside the US. So for you, if you travel a lot or switch carriers often, that's a major shift. Apple's clearly pushing the industry towards eSIM.
Wow, eSIM only globally is a bold move. Definitely signals where they're heading. Okay, and what about that single camera lens on the back? That looks like a compromise for thinness, especially when the cheaper iPhone 17 gets 2 cameras.
Yeah, that's almost certainly a trade-off for the design. To get that thin profile and the plateau look, it has just one 48MP Fusion camera.
So just the main wide lens.
Essentially, yes. But Apple claims it acts like multiple advanced cameras in one. It uses clever software, custom lenses, and that in-sensor cropping trick to simulate a 2x telephoto shot at 12MP resolution.
Okay, so computational photography doing heavy lifting again.
Exactly. It gives you some zoom versatility even without a dedicated telephoto lens. You still get the 18MP center stage front camera too with all its tricks. And another neat feature, dual capture mode.
What's that?
You can shoot video from both the front and rear cameras at the same time.
Oh, cool. Like picture-in-picture or split screen.
Yeah, opens up some creative options for vloggers or anyone wanting to show two perspectives at once. Now, the battery. Despite being so thin and having a rumored 3036 mAh battery, which isn't huge by today's standard,
Right.
Apple is still promising all-day battery life. They quote up to 27 hours of video playback.
27 hours. How?
Must be a combination of that efficient A19 Pro chip, maybe a new high-density silicon battery technology they mentioned, and software optimization. It's impressive engineering if it holds up.
And if you need more.
There's a new, exclusive, slim, MagSafe battery pack just for the Air. Snaps on the back, extends video playback to a claimed 40 hours.
Oh, but that's an extra cost, right?
Yep, an additional $99 for the pack, so the extended life comes at a price.
Gotcha. So if you really need that marathon battery, you need the accessory. The iPhone Air starts at $999, comes in black, white, light gold, and sky blue. It really sounds like Apple's betting big on the design here, making a statement.
Totally.
Could this maybe be them testing the waters or paving the way for a foldable iPhone eventually? All this focus on thinness, new battery tech.
That's a really sharp insight. Stepping back, this radical design shift with the Air, it's probably not just about making a thin phone. It feels like a strategic move, especially aimed at markets like China.
Why China specifically?
Well, in markets like China, innovative form factors, especially thin designs, and the whole buzz around foldables are huge selling points. A foldable iPhone is rumored for maybe next year, right?
Yeah, we keep hearing that.
So the Air could absolutely be laying the groundwork, showing off Apple's engineering muscle in managing heat and battery density in these super compact forms. It's a statement piece, for sure. Apple's saying, yeah, we can do thin, we can do design, and we can do it exceptionally well. It's their move to compete hard on that industrial design front.
Okay, moving on to the top dogs, the professional powerhouses.
Yeah.
The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. This is usually where Apple throws in everything but the kitchen sink, right? The most advanced tech.
Traditionally, yeah. These are for the users who need the absolute best, the most demanding features.
So what are the key upgrades for the Pros this year? What makes them stand out, especially from that very capable Base 17 and the stylish Air?
Okay, starting with the displays. For you getting a Pro, you get a 6.3-inch screen on the Pro and a slightly larger 6.9-inch on the Pro Max. Both, of course, have that adaptive 1Hz and 120 Hz promotion and that crazy 3000 nits peak brightness.
Same brightness as the others then?
Yep. 3000 nits seems to be the new standard across the higher end this year, but the Pros also get a new scratch and glare-resistant coating on the glass.
Oh, anti-glare. That's nice.
Yeah, a subtle thing, but really helpful for usability, especially outdoors or under bright lights. Better durability, too. But here's where things get really interesting and maybe a bit controversial. The frame material. Apple actually switched back to aluminum from the titanium they used last year on the 16 Pro.
Back to aluminum. Really? Didn't they make a huge deal about titanium last year? Lighter, stronger?
They did. So for some people, this might feel like a step backward, less premium. But Apple's reasoning apparently isn't about cost. It's about managing heat.
Aluminum is better for heat dissipation than titanium.
Generally, yes. It conducts heat more effectively. So this switch seems to be part of a bigger redesign focused squarely on thermal performance, which is absolutely critical for these high-power Pro models. It shows they're prioritizing sustained performance, maybe over just the feel of the material. Raises interesting questions about what Pro really means, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is interesting. Performance over premium materials. Okay, so back to aluminum. What about the overall look, especially that huge camera bar we saw in leaks? It looked different.
Oh yeah, the camera module is dramatically different. It now stretches all the way across the back of the phone, very reminiscent of Google's Pixel phones with their camera bars.
Right, like the Pixel visor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, it's not just for looks. This design change, along with having a polished glass section in the middle of the back, is primarily about heat dissipation. They've actually put a vapor chamber cooling system inside the Pros this year.
A vapor chamber, like in gaming laptops.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a much more advanced cooling solution than what phones typically use, essential for preventing the phone from overheating and throttling performance during really intense tasks, think high-end gaming, or recording super high-res video for long periods.
How does a vapor chamber work, basically?
Okay, imagine like a tiny, flat, sealed metal chamber inside the phone. It has a wick structure and a very small amount of liquid. When the A19 Pro chip gets hot, the liquid absorbs the heat and turns into vapor. This vapor travels quickly to cooler parts of the chamber, where it condenses back into liquid, releasing the heat much more efficiently across a larger area.
Ah, okay. Spreads the heat out better.
Way better than just relying on graphite sheets or simple heat pipes. So for you, this means the phone can maintain its peak performance for much longer without slowing down. Consistent power when you really need it, because bad thermals are the enemy of sustained performance.
Gotcha. Vapor chamber cooling, that's a serious hardware upgrade for performance nuts. What about colors for the Pros?
You've got silver, blue, and this really vibrant cosmic orange.
Cosmic orange sounds bright.
Definitely polarizing. Some reviews called it life-affirming. Others might find it a bit much. It's certainly a statement. But interestingly, reports suggest there might be no black or space gray Pro option this year.
No black Pro. That would be surprising.
Yeah, could be a shift. We'll see how people react to that if it's true.
Okay, a vapor chamber for consistent power. That's huge for you if you're pushing your phone hard with demanding apps or games. Now, the cameras, always a major focus for the Pro models, right? Often the main reason people upgrade.
Absolutely. And Apple's not holding back with their claims. They're calling it the best camera system we've ever made.
Strong words. What's new?
You get 3 48MP Fusion cameras on the back, the main wide, the ultra wide, and the telephoto, plus the 18MP center stage front camera, of course.
All 3 rear cameras are 48MP now.
Yep. Big resolution bump across the board. But the headline grabber is the telephoto lens. It now boasts an 8x optical zoom.
8 times optical. Wow, that's double the previous Max, isn't it?
Exactly, double the range of the 16 Pro Max. That gives you an equivalent focal length of around 200 millimeter, which means you can get incredibly close-up shots of distant subjects with amazing detail without relying on digital zoom that degrades quality. That's pushing into serious photography territory for a phone.
8x optical. That's impressive. What else?
The main camera sensor is also 56% larger.
Bigger sensor means better low light.
Precisely. Captures significantly more light, leading to better detail, less noise, especially in tricky conditions like dimly lit restaurants or night scenes. It also has a variable aperture system.
Variable aperture, like on a real camera.
Yeah. Gives you more control over depth of field, how blurry the background is. You can adjust it to isolate your subject more or keep more of the scene in focus. It's another pro-level feature trickling down. And you can do multicam simultaneous video recording, too.
Recording from multiple lenses at once.
Yep. Opens up creative possibilities, maybe capturing wide and telephoto views simultaneously. So, yeah, this raises the question, how much will these pro-grade features genuinely change the game for content creators? It really empowers them to do more right from their pocket.
That 8x optical zoom is huge, and variable aperture adds real creative control. Okay, what about the engine driving all this, and battery life to support it? These sound like power-hungry features.
Under the hood, both Pros run on that A19 Pro chip, same as the Air, but Apple says it has higher peak performance and better thermal management in the Pros.
Because of the vapor chamber.
Exactly. That cooling system lets the chip run faster for longer without throttling. It also has those neural accelerators integrated into the GPU cores for heavy AI tasks, helps with all the computational photography, real-time video effects, AR stuff. Apple's keeping pace on the AI hardware front, even if they aren't shouting about Siri.
Makes sense. Battery.
Apple claims the largest battery ever and best battery life ever for an iPhone. The Pro Max is rumored to have a massive 5,000 milliamp battery.
5,000? That's huge for an iPhone.
It really is.
Yeah.
Should translate to serious endurance. And another cool feature finally making its debut on iPhone, something Android has had for ages, is reverse charging.
Reverse wireless charging? You mean charging other devices from the iPhone?
Yep. You can wirelessly charge your AirPods or your Apple Watch just by placing them on the back of your iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max.
Finally. That's super convenient, right? Especially for you when you're traveling or just out and about. No need for extra cables for your accessories.
Totally. It's just useful. Apple apparently figured out how to make it work reliably alongside MagSafe, which is interesting because Google actually removed reverse charging from the Pixel 10, reportedly due to issues combining it with the Q2 standard and magnets.
So Apple cracked it.
Seems like it. Shows their engineering focus on getting these integrations right.
Reverse charging is a great addition. Okay, pricing for all this Pro power, the crazy cameras, vapor chamber, big battery.
The iPhone 17 Pro starts at $1,099, but that's with 256 GB of storage now.
Okay, so effectively the same price as last year's 256 GB model.
Exactly. The 16 Pro started at $999, but that was for 128 GB. So you get double the storage for the same effective entry price. Better value.
Good. And the Pro Max?
Starts at $1,199, also with 256 GB standard, same as last year's entry Pro Max. And if you need truly insane amounts of storage, the Pro Max goes all the way up to 2 terabytes.
2 terabytes.
Yeah. But that'll cost you $1,999 for the 2TB Pro Max.
That's definitely for the serious pros needing massive storage for video or photos.
Wow. Okay, so the pros are packed, as expected.
Yeah.
Serious upgrades, especially on the camera and performance fronts. All right, let's shift gears from what's in your pocket or hand to what goes directly in your ears. AirPods Pro 3. This felt like a pretty significant update for Apple's high-end earbuds, didn't it?
It really did. What seems clear here is Apple's laser focus on the actual user experience and, importantly, the audio performance. They're making a strong play in a very crowded earbud market.
How so?
Well, they're calling them the best-fitting AirPods ever. They've got new phone-infused ear tips.
From tips, like comply tips?
Kind of, yeah. They should conform better to your ear canal. That means more comfort for wearing them a long time, but also better seal, which is crucial for getting the best sound quality and noise cancellation.
And the sound itself. They claim improved audio quality, specifically mentioning a wider soundstage, so music feels more spacious, and better vocal clarity, making voices in music and podcasts clearer, more present. But the real headline, the thing they seem most proud of, is the active noise canceling, ANC.
Yeah. What's the claim there?
They're saying it's twice as good as the AirPods Pro 2 and 4 times better than the original AirPods Pro.
Twice as good as Gen 2. That's a huge jump. Gen 2 was already pretty good.
It was, and Apple didn't stop there. They basically threw down the gauntlet saying these are the best ANC earbuds you can buy, period.
Wow, bold claim, taking on Bose and Sony directly.
Absolutely. So for you, if you commute on a noisy train, fly a lot, or work in a loud office, that level of noise cancellation could be genuinely transformative. Real quiet when you need it.
Okay, 2x better ANC. That definitely has my attention. If you're trying to focus or just enjoy music in peace, that's a massive deal. What else did they pack into these little buds?
Quite a bit, actually. For you, traveling or interacting with people who speak different languages, they've integrated live translation powered by Apple Intelligence.
Live translation in your ear, how does that work?
Imagine talking to someone, they speak their language, and you hear the translation almost instantly whispered right into your AirPods. Apple says it lets you overcome language barriers and easily hold conversations.
Ooh, that sounds futuristic.
Yeah.
And potentially incredibly useful.
It really does. A huge step for real-time communication. They also finally got a proper IP rating, IP57.
IP57, what does that mean?
Better protection against dust and water. So they're much more durable now for workouts, getting caught in the rain, that sort of thing. That's a first for AirPods Pro.
Okay, better durability is always welcome. Battery life.
Got a bump, too. Up to 8 hours of listening time with ANC turned on. That's up from 6 hours on the Gen 2s.
8 hours with ANC, that's solid.
Yeah, good improvement for long flights or just getting through a full workday. And one more thing, they put a heart rate monitor in them.
Heart rate monitor in the earbuds.
Yep. Ties directly into Apple Health, so you can get more fitness tracking data, potentially more accurate heart rate during workouts, right from your ears.
Huh. Okay, health tracking from your earbuds. Interesting integration.
And all of this comes in at the same starting price as before, $249.
Live translation, heart rate tracking, much better ANC, better battery, more durable for the same price. That seems like a really compelling upgrade.
It does.
Now, I remember hearing some rumors before the event about the case getting a redesign, maybe even controls on the case itself. Did any of that pan out?
Yeah, there were definitely rumors swirling. Talk about a smaller case, maybe like the regular AirPods 4 case. Getting rid of the pairing button in favor of just tapping the case, even controlling music playback or volume from the case, like a tiny remote.
Right, like a mini iPod shuffle case or something.
Kind of, yeah. But, well, not all those rumored features actually made it into the announcement this time. Some reports suggest more advanced cameras might come in a future model, maybe 2026. And those elaborate case controls didn't seem to materialize for this generation.
Ah, okay. So maybe next time for the fancy case.
Seems like it. For the AirPods Pro 3, the focus was clearly on nailing the core experience. The fit, the sound, that breakthrough ANC, and adding genuinely useful new features like translation and the heart rate monitor. Still a very strong update.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it. Okay, let's pivot from ears to the wrist. Apple Watch time. They unveiled 3 new models. The Apple Watch Series 11, the Ultra 3, and a new SE 3.
Yeah, the full refresh.
The Series 11. This one looked like it finally delivered on some features people have been wanting for years.
It really did. Aesthetically, it looks pretty similar, that classic Apple Watch shape, but it is the slimmest flagship watch they've made so far.
Slimmer. Nice.
Yeah, should make it even more comfortable to wear 24/7. It's also got more scratch-resistant ionized glass, so hopefully tougher against daily wear and tear. And internally, a redesigned cellular antenna for better 5G connectivity.
5G on the watch.
Yep. So for you, potentially faster data speeds when you're away from your phone, but maybe more importantly, it should be more reliable and use less power than the older 4G modems.
Okay, better connectivity. But the big news seemed to be health-related.
Absolutely. This is a huge one. The Series 11 is the first smartwatch with alerts for hypertension or high blood pressure.
High blood pressure detection. How does that work? Is it accurate?
Well, it's not giving you a specific blood pressure reading like a cuff does. It's not for diagnosis. But what it does do is monitor trends and data collected by the watch's sensors over a 30-day period, quietly in the background. It uses a sophisticated algorithm to look for patterns that might indicate high blood pressure.
So it gives you a heads up if something looks off.
Exactly. It provides alerts and insights that you can then take to your doctor. Apple is expecting FDA clearance for this feature, which adds a lot of credibility. It's a potentially life-saving early warning system.
Wow. That's a serious health feature.
It really is. And the other huge thing, battery life. It finally achieves that holy grail of 24 hours of battery life with the always-on display active.
24 hours with always on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. That's a first for a main series. Apple Watch addresses one of the longest-standing complaints. You can actually wear it all day and track your sleep without worrying about charging it constantly.
Fantastic.
It also adds a daily sleep score, giving you more insights and tips on how to improve your sleep quality, so it's becoming an even more comprehensive health tool.
Okay, 24-hour battery with always on and blood pressure alerts. That makes the Series 11, starting at $399, a really compelling upgrade, doesn't it? Especially for people focused on health and just wanting a watch that lasts the day easily.
Definitely feels like a big step forward for the core Apple Watch experience.
And what about the Ultra 3? The one for adventurers, hikers, divers.
Right, the rugged one. The Ultra 3 starts at $799. It gets a slightly larger, wide-angle OLED screen with thinner bezels. So more screen real estate, better view of your maps or metrics, although honestly the physical design didn't look drastically different in person from the Ultra 2.
Okay, subtle screen tweak. Any standout new features?
Oh yeah, one massive one. Emergency satellite connectivity.
Satellite connection on the watch, like the iPhones have.
Exactly like the iPhones. A first for an Apple Watch. This means you can send emergency messages and share your location even when you have absolutely no cellular service. Think deep in the backcountry, out on the ocean.
Wow. That's a genuine safety feature for people who go off-grid.
Potentially life-saving, yeah. It also gets the 5G connectivity and the hypertension notifications from the Series 11, and it maintains that impressive battery life up to 42 hours.
42 hours. Still the endurance champ then.
Definitely. Built for those multi-day adventures. Oh, and they showed off some cool new watch faces and a new minty ocean band color.
Minty green. Okay. So satellite connectivity is the big story for Ultra 3. Pretty wild. Now, finally, the entry-level option, the Apple Watch SE 3. It hadn't been updated since 2022, right?
Correct. Long overdue for a refresh, and it got a pretty significant one starting at that attractive $249 price point.
What's new on the SE 3? Did they switch to plastic, like some rumors suggested?
Nope. Still an all-aluminum case, so it retains that premium feel. No plastic, thankfully. And it has stronger Ion-X glass on the front for better scratch resistance.
Good. What about performance and features?
Key upgrades include the faster S10 chip inside, which should make everything feel much snappier. It charges twice as fast as the old SE, which is convenient. Battery life is boosted to 18 hours. And crucially, it gets an always-on display for the first time.
Always on display on the SE. That's huge. That was a major differentiator before.
It really was. Bringing that feature down to the SE makes it feel much less compromised. Big win for users at this price point.
Any new health features for the SE?
Yes. It adds sleep apnea detection, using its sensors to look for breathing patterns indicative of the condition, another potential early warning feature. And it gets wrist temperature sensing.
Temperature sensing, like the Series 8 and 9 had.
Exactly. Primarily used for retrospective ovulation tracking and getting improved period predictions for women's health.
Okay, so some solid health additions too.
And for you just using the watch day to day, it gets a bunch of new AI-powered smarts, making it feel really advanced for an SE model. There's a workout buddy feature that gives personalized insights and encouragement during workouts.
AI coach on your wrist?
Sort of, yeah. Live message translations directly on the watch. Smart stack hints that proactively suggest apps you might need based on time or location, like your boarding pass at the airport.
Well, it's stack getting smarter.
Yep. Plus, new gestures like double tap and a wrist flick gesture to dismiss calls or alarms easily with one hand. And the speaker can now actually play music and podcasts directly, not just handle calls.
Wow, the SE3 really got a lot of love. Always on display, faster chip, new health features, smarter AI stuff. That sounds like an incredible value at $249. Really punches above its weight.
It absolutely does. Makes it a fantastic option for first-time buyers or people upgrading from much older models.
And all three watches, Series 11, Ultra 3, SE3, start shipping on September 19th. Quick turnaround again.
Okay, so new hardware is great, but it needs new software to run on. Apple also gave us release dates for all the big OS updates. iOS 26, iPadOS 26, watchOS 26, macOS Tahoe 26, and tvOS 26, all dropping on September 15th.
Yeah, just a few days after the event. Tight integration, as always.
What's the big theme connecting all these software updates this year? Is there a common thread?
There definitely is. The big visual change across the board is Apple's new design language, which they're calling Liquid Glass.
Liquid Glass. Sounds shiny.
It kind of is. It brings this glassy sheen, a sort of translucency to UI elements, buttons, search bars, widgets, notifications. You see it everywhere, from your Mac right down to your Apple Watch.
So like a frosted glass effect. A bit like that, yeah. Elements seem to have a subtle depth, letting a hint of your wallpaper or the content behind them show through. It creates this cohesive, kind of sophisticated look across all the devices.
Did they fix the legibility issues people saw in early betas?
Apparently, yes. They've dialed in the look, aiming for a clean, minimal aesthetic that's still easy to read. Apple says it's designed to be easy on the eyes, a nice middle ground between the starkness of light mode and the, well, sometimes drabness of dark mode. It just makes everything feel a bit fresher, more modern, and unified.
Liquid Glass. Sounds visually interesting. I'm always up for a good UI refresh if it works well. What about specific features coming to iPhones with iOS 26 beyond just the look?
Okay, beyond the Liquid Glass makeover, iOS 26 introduces that adaptive power mode we mentioned earlier.
Right, the smart battery saving thing.
Yeah, it learns your usage patterns and intelligently conserves battery, especially when it predicts you might run low later in the day, like having a little energy manager working for you. It also enhances a lot of the existing Apple Intelligence features. Visual intelligence gets better, so improved image recognition, maybe better object removal in photos, stuff like that, all happening on device. Translation tools get more integrated into apps. And you get new call screening features.
Call screening, how does that work?
Your iPhone can basically answer calls from unknown numbers, transcribe what the caller is saying in real time, and show it to you on screen, so you can decide whether it's worth picking up or just ignore it.
Ah, like Google's call screen. Handy for spam.
Exactly. Plus, the usual updates to core apps like Messages and Photos, making them more intuitive, better search, better organization, and a really big one for you gamers out there, a brand new, dedicated Games app.
A Games app. Finally. What does it do?
It acts as a central hub for all the games linked to your Apple ID. Shows your progress, achievements. But the key part is a Play Together tab.
Social gaming features.
Yep. Social features, seeing what friends are playing, easier multiplayer invites. It even integrates with Apple Arcade. It really signals Apple taking social mobile gaming much more seriously, building that community aspect. It's something users have wanted for a long time.
A dedicated Games app with social integration. That feels like a genuinely big deal for iPhone gamers, catching up to Android there, but hopefully with Apple's typical polish. Okay, what about the iPad? iPadOS 26. Apple keeps pushing it as a potential laptop replacement. Any big steps in that direction?
Oh, yeah. iPadOS 26 gets a major productivity upgrade. a completely new windowing system.
Windowing, like on a Mac.
Exactly like on a Mac. It lets you resize app windows, move them around freely, overlap them, minimize them, close them. Basically, true multitasking with multiple app windows visible and interactive at once.
Wow. That fundamentally changes how you use an iPad for work, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It brings it so much closer to a desktop or a laptop experience, especially if you use it with a keyboard and trackpad. It's a massive step towards making the iPad a more versatile machine for power users and multitaskers. Huge change.
Okay, that sounds like a game changer for iPad productivity. And for the Apple Watch. What's new in watchOS 26 besides the liquid glass look?
Some really nice quality of life improvements there. We mentioned the wrist flick gesture, letting you dismiss calls or alarms just by flicking your wrist. Super handy when your other hand is busy.
Yeah, that sounds useful.
The Smart Stack gets smarter, using AI to suggest relevant apps based on your context and habits. That AI-powered workout buddy provides personalized insights and even little pep talks during your exercise routines.
Yeah, pep talks. Okay.
The Notes app is finally coming to the watch, so you can quickly jot down ideas or reminders right on your wrist.
Notes on the watch. About time.
Right, and automatic two-way translations directly within the Messages app on your watch. So Apple Intelligence is getting woven more deeply into the watch experience, making it feel more proactive and helpful.
It's really clear that Apple Intelligence, even if it wasn't the keynote headliner, is powering a lot of these new software features across the board. It's definitely there working behind the scenes.
Absolutely. It's integrated subtly, enhancing existing functions rather than being a standalone AI product.
Which brings up the big question again.
Yeah.
What about Siri? A smarter AI-powered Siri? That's been the elephant in the room, especially with competitors pushing their advanced voice assistants so hard.
Yeah, it was a very noticeable silence during the keynote. Zero mention of an AI-powered Siri overhaul.
So it's not ready. Delayed.
That's what the report suggests. Delayed until 2026, potentially. And there are even whispers that Apple might end up using a third-party AI model like Google Gemini under the hood to accelerate things, rather than relying solely on their own in-house development for a large language model.
Using Google Tech for Siri? That would be a twist.
It would be huge. But for this event, the focus was clearly on AI enhancing specific features in the background. Think about the complex machine learning needed for the watch's hypertension detection over 30 days of data, or the neural accelerators in the iPhones crunching data for better photos and faster on-device tasks.
So AI is a tool, not a personality.
Exactly. It's a very different strategy than Google or Samsung, who are really putting those conversational AI assistants front and center. Apple seems to be playing the long game, maybe, focusing on their traditional strengths, hardware excellence, camera leadership, privacy, while still building AI capabilities into the core experience, perhaps more cautiously, maybe through partnerships, rather than rushing out a potentially flawed Siri V2.
It's a strategic choice, for sure. Prioritizing polished integration over being first with a flashy, maybe imperfect AI assistant. Time will tell if it's the right call. Well, that was quite a download from Apple's awe-dropping event. A lot to digest. From that surprisingly beefed up iPhone 17 base model.
Yeah, really strong base offering this year.
To the incredibly thin and very stylish iPhone Air, making a big design statement. Then you have the Pro models, pushing camera tech with that 8x zoom and adding serious performance cooling with vapor chambers.
The Pros are beasts, no doubt.
And don't forget the AirPods Pro 3, the live translation sounds wild. And the improved ANC is a big draw. Plus the health-focused Apple Watches, especially Series 11, breaking the 24-battery barrier with always-on and adding blood pressure alerts, and the Ultra 3 getting satellite safety features. There's definitely a lot for you to think about, depending on what you're looking for.
Indeed. If you sort of step back and try to connect the dots, Apple's strategy this year feels like this interesting mix. You've got radical design innovation with the Air, clearly pushing boundaries there. Then you have really significant practical upgrades, making the base iPhone 17 and the Watch SE3 much more compelling, bringing premium features down.
Right.
And then there's the AI approach, much more subtle, integrated, working behind the scenes rather than being the main headline. It's powering health features, camera smart, software conveniences.
Yeah, AI is an enabler, not the feature itself.
Exactly. Which leads to, I think, an important question for you listening. Will the strategy focusing on hardware breakthroughs, practical upgrades, and this more subtle integration of AI be enough to keep Apple at the cutting edge? Will leveraging their strength in design, user experience, and that ecosystem lock-in work? Or will holding back on a more overtly powerful, consumer-facing AI assistant become a limiting factor down the road, especially as competitors double down on that front?
That's a really provocative thought to chew on. Is Apple playing it smart and safe, or potentially falling behind the big AI assistant race? Something for you to consider as you figure out if any of these new gadgets deserve a spot on your shopping list. What stands out to you the most from today's Byte-Sized Tech? Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed this look at Apple's September 9, 2025 keynote, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.